So our next trick is go to your mat. Just like the crate tricks, we're going to build up history of reinforcement for being on the mat until eventually they're laying on the mat and staying there until we release them. In the beginning, we're going to reward any interaction. By the end, we will only be rewarding for a down on it. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm not going to give her her cue, otherwise she's going to do it automatically. I'm going to kind of shape this. Oh, Flash! Flash, come on! Come on. Okay. So I'm giving her lots of rewards for being on there. I'm tossing the treats onto the mat. In the beginning, even for just sniffing or putting, one paw on there, two paws on, you can build it up until they get all four paws on, and then you can start rewarding for only all four. Ready? Free. Good girl. So she automatically offered that down. It won't happen that quickly if this is something new to your dogs. If it's something they've been doing for a while, it'll happen really quickly. Normally what we do is once we get the dogs having value for going to the mat, then we start waiting them out, waiting for them to offer another behavior, whether it's a sit or a down. Sometimes you have to go to a sit first and then a down. Some dogs will go right from the standing to a down. The object is, after you free them, you toss one and you free them, they should drive right back to that mat. You'll see Flash is running right back to it and laying right back down. I want to toss the treats so she doesn't have to get up to get to them. Girl. This is a really nice thing to teach a dog to relax on. If you get this really solid, especially if you have a reactive dog or just an excitable dog, a lot of times this becomes their safety net and you can use it. If you have a mat that you can travel with, you can bring it to baseball games with you or family picnics, whatever it may be, or you can bring it to somewhere where there's other dogs and you want your dog to relax around them. And this really helps. Free. Once they're going back to it and laying down all the time, that's when we're going to add a cue. It can be anything. It can be mat, it can be bed, it can be place. Okay, free. Good girl. She went back to it before I could even say the cue this time. So I'll free her again and then I'll show you exactly what it looks like. You want to give that cue as soon as they turn around to come back. Free. Flash, place. Good girl. This should be something they love. It shouldn't be, shouldn't be something they dread where, oh God, I got to go to my mat now. It should be, every time you put that mat down, they should be like, oh great, awesome, I get tons of treats. I get to go to that mat. Obviously, eventually you will fade the treats, but for now we want a lot of reinforcement just for being on that mat. We want this to be an awesome thing. Free. Please. Good girl. Sorry, girlie. Free. Please. If you notice there, even though the treat, I don't know if you can see it, the treat went off of the mat, she waited until I released her to go get that treat. Once you actually build this up, you should be able to do pretty much any distraction, and they'll stay on it. That's your end goal. Because no matter what's going on, they're just going to lay on their mat and relax. Girl, if they get up once you have it down, you're just going to wait them out and wait till they lay back down before you click and treat anymore. Don't be in a rush to get the down though. I'd rather you build drive for going to the mat first before we worry about getting it down on the mat. Technically, for the trick to count, you don't have to have a down on it. You just have to have them going to a mat from a distance. I do prefer the automatic down on the mat, though. I think for it to actually help you and your dog, that's the most important part. Sorry, girlie. And just like with the crate, with closing the crate, with the mat, we want to make sure that when we're done with that training session, we pick it up. You can always go back and put it back down, you know, when you're not in a training session, especially if you're using a bed that you want to have around your house. But we don't want them immediately going back to it and then not getting reinforced for it. You can also eventually transfer this to a behavior that they do every time the doorbell rings. So that's another great use for this, where you actually make the doorbell an automatic cue to go to the mat. So that's something for you guys to work towards. And then this is your go to your mat behavior.